everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and it's time for the Superhero Rewind Ranking Show. This is a thing I've been thinking about doing for a real long time, where I go through and take every movie that I have reviewed and I put it in a real ranked order by category of score. So I'm going to rank all the 1s, the 1.5s, the 2s, etc., and use that as a base to put together a full list of what I, and some of this will be somewhat arbitrary, no way around it, think are the best to worst of the 128 movies that I have reviewed so far on Superhero Rewind. I think I have everything on this list. If anybody thinks of something or finds something in the podcast archive or on YouTube that somehow I forgot to include in here, please let me know. I was not keeping track of this as I went along, of course, and so I had to go in and compile this list manually. I want to say thanks to my son Jason for helping me put this together. It was really awesome of him to do some of this work on his own, and this is going to be a lot of fun, I think. So this is totally off the cuff. This is different from a regular rewind, and what I'm going to be doing is just kind of going through my thought process as I put this together. So I have not given this any thought yet. I'm going to be looking at this list as I'm doing this and sharing it with you guys and kind of thinking out loud. So if you are listening to this on a podcast site on Spotify or Anchor, what have you, in the podcast version of Superhero Rewind, I am also recording video, and if you'd like to see my lovely bearded face and get a look at the list, if it's easier for you to follow it that way, go to Geekvolution on YouTube, and the link is in the description of the podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube and have yet to get the memo that we have Rewind now, the entire archive on podcast, in podcast form, you can go to, like I said, Anchor or Spotify or any one of a number of other podcast sites, and the link to the main two there is in the description on YouTube, if I remember to do that, and if not, I've posted a video about that, and I've got the link in a couple of different places. So, but you can just go to Google and search out Superhero Rewind Podcast, or go to Anchor or Spotify, and you can find it that way very easily. All right, is everybody ready to get started? I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to work my way up, and I'm going to go for about 45-50 minutes and just get as far as I can go. I'd like to get through at least the 1.5s today, if not the 2s, or part of the 2. There's quite a few 2s. So the way I've set this up is, let me show this to you if you're watching on YouTube. What I've done is I've numbered all the movies, but this is not, of course, the order that the rankings are actually going to be in. This is just the number, this is just the order that they showed up in as we were compiling this list. So this is in no particular order right now. Obviously, it's weird sometimes trying to compare one movie to another as far as score goes, and sometimes people will go, Cap, how in the world could you have given this a 2 when you gave this a 1.5? And of course, I'm not fully comparing those numbers when I'm coming up with that score. That score is, I don't want to say, of course, completely arbitrary, but it's based on the last viewing I had with a film, like I've always said. This whole thing is very subjective, it's very biased, it's based on what I thought of a movie when I was watching it. And some of these are reviews from years and years ago, of course. And so this is not going to be perfect. This is kind of more of a fun exercise than anything. I kind of wanted to have a full list of all the rewinds in one place, apart from just the archive list, so that you could go in and be like, oh, these are the movies that Cap listed, and kind of what he, his feelings on them, just based on, these sterile numbers and this ranking. This is a thing that the Genesis Gems do. I want to credit them, and I know they got this idea from some other places as well, but I thought of this being on their show. It just seemed like a fun thing to do. They always rank the video games, the Genesis games that they've reviewed in order from their favorite to least favorite. Genesis good, or Gems good and garbage. I'm gonna do that same kind of breakdown, but by the star values. Well, I say star values. I've never thought of it in terms of 0 or 1 or 2, etc. stars, but but my son wrote it this way, and actually we had another friend of mine helping us out with this in the first place, and then Jason took over, and I think he came up with the star thing. But anyway, so here's how I'm going to start looking at this. So you see 128 there at the bottom. By default, Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, has to be at the bottom right now because I rated that a 0, and it's the only thing that on the 0 to 4 scale has gotten a 0. Now, I don't think that's actually necessarily the worst movie that I've reviewed. For the sake of breaking it down like this, I have to have it at the bottom. And keep in mind, of course, and I don't want to harp too much. I mean, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you've seen my reviews, you know kind of how I operate. This is not always even completely based on what my favorite stuff is. And, I mean, some of it is, again, there's a bias, but a lot of it is about story. I mean, it's about story more than anything. And so, you know, which of these movies is the best narrative, tells the best story. And Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, and I did this, I don't want to say totally as a joke, but I could not help but give it a 0 because I felt like it wasn't Power Rangers and it wasn't a movie, so it got a 0. But since then, I've reviewed some things that are so much worse than it that it's going to be really difficult not to change this around and put some things under it. So I reserved the right to drop the point value rule entirely for this being broken up in those categories. I may finally just go, look, Son of the Mask is worse than Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. And it is. Certainly. Is Fant4stic? Probably not. It's funny that Fant4stic got a higher rating even than 1994 Fantastic Four. Well, now that I think about it, I guess that's not funny. No, I agree with myself on that. So anyway, so for the time being, because this will help us kind of break this up into more bite-sized chunks, I am going to go based on the point values. So that is going to stick at the 128 spot for now, but eventually that honestly is likely to change. Let's go ahead and look at the point fives, shall we? So we got Catwoman, Superman 4, Superhero Movie, My Super Ex-Girlfriend, 1994 Fantastic Four, Super Buddies, and Son of the Mask. And it's interesting looking at this list, and I'm sure it'll be like this for all these categories, just the range of time that these reviews span. Son of the Mask was several years ago, but Super Buddies was just a year ago, maybe, a year and a half ago. So really interesting. Superhero Movie goes way back. That was an April Fool's Day video. So anyway, just kind of walking down memory lane here. But how do I want to rank these? Let's see. So what I'm going to do is, I should have put this in a spreadsheet, but I'm being kind of lazy. I just happen to have, honestly, I wasn't even going to do this yet, and I just happen to have an extra hour today, kind of a chunk that I could take out, and I was like, I really want to get started on that ranking thing. So I'm doing this a little bit, you know, ghetto-fied, if I can say that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make new numbers, and then I'm going to type these in. You're going to hear my typing here probably, the way this is set up, but let's just put in new numbers and then decide what should go where. So Son of the Mask is going to be real far down that list, but the big question in my mind right now is it better or worse than My Super Ex-Girlfriend? Because I found that movie just absolutely offensive. And that movie I've seen, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen, so that also makes it kind of difficult. But I really think Son of the Mask may be the worst thing I have ever reviewed. I mean, I would rather watch Super Buddies again over that. I realize that got more than a 0.5. But I'm gonna, for now, I'm gonna put that at the bottom. Again, I reserve the right to change any and all of this. But I think My Super Ex-Girlfriend is, oh wait, no, I did give Super Buddies a 0.5. Oh good, because it deserves it. But yeah, okay, so Son of the Mask goes to the bottom. My Super Ex-Girlfriend is going to be in the 126 spot. And then I think it's going to be, well, is it Super Buddies or is it Superhero Movie? That's a question. I think, yeah, Super Buddies is worse than the Superhero Movie. It definitely is. Okay, so Super Ex-Girlfriend. Oh, I'm sorry, I already did that. Forgive some of the spelling or weird punctuation with this. Some of this was my son's doing. Okay, so yes, I'm blaming it on my son, but that's because it really was him. Okay, Super Buddies is going to be 125, And then I think, yeah, right above that is superhero movie. And then in the 123 spot, I think it's going to have to go to, let's see, so Catwoman, Superman 4, and 1994 Fantastic Four. I think 1994 Fantastic Four has to go next. It's just such a B movie. And I still wish, by the way, that I could see that with, you know, a better film quality. It really sucks that there's no masters and that the only way you can watch that is real blurry. I don't know how much that would change my opinion on that, but I wish you could see it the way it was intended. Superman 4, I mean, in its way, it wasn't intended to be seen at all, I guess, you know, at the end of the day. Is Catwoman worse than Superman 4? There's a question. There's a question. You know, I think it is. I think it is worse than Superman 4. So Superman 4 is going to top the 0.5 star list as the best of the 0.5s. So good job, Superman 4. You get to be the best of the worst. Or most of the worst. To quote a great show on Red Letter Media. All right, let's look at the 1 stars now. Shall we? We got, so let me do the same thing I did before. I'm just going to get all these numbers typed out. 13, 14, 15. Okay, so we got Elektra, Ninja Turtles 3, a lot of 3s here. Superman 3, Batman and Robin, Supergirl, Brainiac Attacks. Yikes, I forgot about that. That is terrible. Underdog, Super Fuzz, and Fantastic. This is going to be harder, I think, you guys. Let's see here. And since this is my show and I've done all of the ratings and all the reviews, I feel like I've got to compile this myself. But it'd be so much easier to have somebody here talking with me and helping me decide this. And I considered inviting somebody to help me do this, but again, this has always been a solo show. And so I feel like I have got to go off on my lonesome. What is going to be at that bottom spot? I mean, Underdog is up there. Ninja Turtles 3, of course, is also way up there. I hate Brainiac Attacks. Wow, this is hard. It's weird. Like, I almost feel stronger about some of these than I did some of the 0.5s. Super Fuzz is somewhere in there. That movie is just 8 shades of bizarre and makes no sense. Is that at the very bottom? Is that in the 120 spot? I'm just trying to decide. I think it might be. Yeah, let's put that there. Okay, so Super Fuzz, I'm going to put it 120 for now. Again, that may change. Underdog is just insulting as an origin film. And Turtles 3 and Superman 3 are notorious. Batman and Robin, I almost feel like is closer to the top of this list. I almost want to start like listing things at the top of this and work my way down, but I'm gonna try to do this the way I did the last category. Let's give it to Underdog. I still think I'd rather watch Supergirl than Underdog, and I think it's a better story. It's weirdly paced, but like they have different issues. Is Supergirl better or worse than Superman 3? That's also a question. I think they're almost on par, but I still think Supergirl is maybe a little better. I think I'd rather watch that. That's my thinking right now. So maybe it's Turtles 3. And then it's like Turtles 3 versus Elektra. Yeah, I think it's going to be Turtles 3. So Ninja Turtles 3. And then Superman 3. Superman 3. Supergirl. I'm kind of surprised that Fantastic is going to be as high as it is, but I think that makes sense. I think it's got to be after that. Man, I'm feeling funky about some of this already. Elektra? But then no, Brainiac Attacks. Brainiac Attacks. And then Elektra, Batman and Robin. Is Batman and Robin going to be at the top of it? Maybe I already asked that, but this is getting weird. What am I missing here? Oh, Fan 4 Stick. Yeah, where is that going to go? I think that has to go next. So Fan 4 Stick. I mean, I just can't bring myself to like hate Batman and Robin. I mean, it's preposterous, but it's fun in its way. I think I still would even rather watch that than Elektra. Isn't that crazy? Just goes to show you that sometimes it's hard to agree with worst superhero movie ever made. Obviously not what I want and not clever like it ought to be, but I mean, look what I have to work in. In the words of the surgeon, the plastic surgeon from Batman '89, look what I have to work here. Let's save this document, shall we? Okay. We're doing pretty well, 15 minutes, and we've already knocked out 2 categories. 3 if you count the running unopposed Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, for 0. Okay, so now we had to deal with 1.5 stars, and there are quite a few more here. Let me mention, too, by the way, that I remembered to put Spawn on this list last minute. That review is currently not actually available anywhere. I'd forgotten all about it, and I'm pretty sure I still have that saved and archived somewhere. I've got to go find it, but I'll try to get that up on the podcast at some point. But I think that my review on Spawn Year is much better and much more thorough, so I would suggest that you go look at that instead of the rewind, just for the sake of completion. I would like to have that back up at some point, but I almost don't want anybody to listen to it, because I don't know, I was a little bit easier on it in Spawn Year just because relative to the comics, it was kind of easier to look at and it was more digestible. It was weirdly more coherent, even though it's not a good movie. But I also just got some things wrong in that. I didn't remember some of the stuff with the source material, and I think I said some things that aren't quite right. So anyway, not super proud of that one. When people ask me, like, what's your least favorite rewind, I never think to mention that one, but that is up there probably. So everybody give me just a second so that I can get all these numbers in here. I wish I had thought to do this ahead of time. But again, I kind of just came into this half-cocked. 103 to 111 here. So this is going to be a little bit tougher because there's so many more movies to deal with. Okay, there we go. So we have Daredevil, the theatrical cut. That's interesting, of course, because I had to put the director's cut in a different in a different rating category because it's better. Batman Returns, I know. Some people hate me for that. We're gonna get into more controversial stuff here. X-Men: The Last Stand, not as controversial. Power Rangers the movie, Ninja Turtles 2, Superman the musical. That can probably almost immediately go at the bottom. Well, but I'm looking at some other things here. Rise of the Silver Surfer, X-Men Origins, Captain America 1990, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Judge Dredd, Mario Brothers the movie, Ninja Turtles 2014. Wow. I've forgotten that I gave that low of a score. I mean, I think I'm right about it. Spirit of Vengeance, Robocop, that's Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, Robocop 2014, Justice League Throne of Atlantis, ugh, I hated that too, Super and Spawn, yikes. I mean, I should not be surprised. The things I really don't like are in the 1.5 scored section, but when you see them all together like that, it almost creeps you out. Okay, what is the worst thing on that list? I can tell you what some of the most mediocre things are on this list. Robocop 2014 comes to mind. I think Superman the Musical is pretty bad, but entertaining, certainly. X-Men: The Last Stand is rough, but it's it's obviously not the worst thing on this list. I don't like Super. I know there are folks that do. I don't mean to just state the obvious here. Captain America 1990 is pretty rough. That's got to be down there somewhere, right? Secret of the Ooze is probably up pretty high, actually, for a 1.5. Like, that's one of those things that gets that score because the story's not great, but, like, it's entertaining and it's fun to watch. And that's where your bias comes into the actual ranking of the thing. What is going to go down at the bottom? Definitely not Judge Dredd. It's probably more middle of the road. Boy, Last Stand is close, man. I mean, I really, really don't... that movie makes me kind of mad. Not as much as it used to, because we kind of... I don't know. We kind of... like vindicated ourselves with that, and then turned right back around and did it again, sort of, with Dark Phoenix. Oh, what was going on with that? Okay, this is just kind of a difficult choice, and I'm stalling while I'm trying to decide what's gonna go there. It is close. That movie is definitely close. But I really need to pick something that goes to the very bottom, and I just don't know that that's worse than Captain America 1990. Or even Throne of Atlantis. Well, yeah, it might even be worse than that. I really don't like that movie. Again, I'm repeating myself. I apologize. Okay. Let's make a decision. Let's go ahead and put Captain America 1990 down there. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. But that's what I'm gonna throw there for now. And let's delete some things as we go here. Throne of Atlantis is in there somewhere. Certainly. That one is really rough. X-Men Origins also. And then you gotta ask yourself, like, which is worse, Origins or Last Stand? And I think it ends up going to Origins just because of the stupidity of the magic bullet and all of that. So this is where things start to take a little while. It's probably just technically Superman the Musical. But that could change. I'm even starting to think of some things that I haven't done yet that I'm imagining going on this list. Oh, I didn't have a date there before. I'm getting used to dating these all the time because of the way I put together the podcast. Okay. This might be easier to start at the top. Judge Dredd, super... Because, I mean, that movie drove me crazy. Okay, let's start at the top. I honestly think this is actually going to be a little bit easier to do. I think I'm going to put Daredevil right at the top. Because, I mean, I don't hate the theatrical cut. It's just not a great movie because of the way it was chopped to bits. So the moment, we'll put that at the top. And then I think it's going to have to be probably Secret of the Ooze. And then maybe Rise of the Silver Surfer. But, like, is that... I don't know. I mean, I'd probably rather watch the Power Rangers movie over that movie. But, like, is it technically... I don't know. Rise of the Silver Surfer is probably technically a better story than that. Technically. So I guess I'm going to go there. I feel weird about that. That can change, as I've said. Okay. I don't know that we'll get past anything but the 1.5s today. But we're making a dent. We're getting it started. Making a Harvey dent. Harvey dent. Okay. Some of these are just really hard to compare for me. It's like Mario Brothers, the movie, versus Ninja Turtles 2014. Like, one of these is more creative than the other. I actually think I would give that to Super Mario Brothers the movie. And I know there are people who probably would think I'm crazy for saying that, but I think I would. I think it's going to be Batman Returns next, actually. Batman Returns And then... let's see. Sorry about the dead air, folks. This is a difficult decision. Because, like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is not unwatchable. I'm just finding a lot of these things even kind of difficult to compare. Okay, let's... now I want to go toward the bottom again. I really do. Like, Robocop, someone in the middle of that 2014 movie. It's weird how 2014 was a great year and also not a great... I mean, it is a really good year, but, like, a couple of the most mediocre superhero things also came out that year. Like, recently, when I did the review for Big Hero 6, I was talking about how 2014 is such a great year with the Days of Future Past and with... the Marvel stuff that year, Guardians of the Galaxy and Winter Soldier, and it's just nuts. Some of the amazing things that all came out, the Lego Movie, some of the amazing things that all came out that year, and then some of the, you know, kind of more middle of the road or trashier things that we ended up getting. This is going to get really arbitrary, I think. Let's just start throwing some things in here. So I'm going to go with... man, I can't put Robocop that high. I mean, it's just so dull. I don't know if I can put the Mario Brother movie that high either, though. Like, is that actually a better movie than The Last Stand? Even though I really, really hate that movie? I don't know. This is tough. And, like, where does Spawn go? God, this is tough. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm trying to do this. I'm stalled out. I'm having a really hard time with this. Okay, let's try to go back toward the bottom. And this is like doing a puzzle. I don't know what pieces go together right now. Let's run to the bottom and let's go ahead and put in Justice League Throne of Atlantis. I think that actually is harder to watch than even those X-Men movies, believe it or not. And then I think probably, is it maybe Judge Dredd after that, or Spawn maybe? Yeah, it's probably Spawn after that. I mean, I said I was too hard on it in the original Rewind, but that's how bad that movie really is, honestly. Although, I think, you know, I do think it's better than the Mario Brothers movie. Okay, let's put Spawn at 107 for now. This might move around a lot. Okay. Brothers movie. And then... I hope this is remotely fun and interesting to watch and listen to. This part is tougher than I expected it to be. And then what next? Maybe Buffy? That Buffy movie? Which is better than I expected it to be, but I mean, it's still not a great movie. And then after that, maybe the Power Rangers movie. Then I'm looking up here at, like, Haunted World of El Super Beasto and stuff, and I'm like, some of this is going to change eventually. I think that's maybe too high. I got some flack for making that, for giving that a score of 2, for giving that a 2 out of 4, and I think that flack may have been warranted the more I've thought about it. But, I mean, there was some inventive stuff in that. It's just kind of awful to sit through. Boy, that is just a gross and cynical piece. And uneven and strange. Okay, so after that, it's gonna be maybe X-Men Origins, or wow, is Judge Dredd? I don't know. I don't even know if Judge Dredd is actually worse than Origins. I don't think it is, honestly. I think that's how bad Origins is. Like, I don't like Judge Dredd. Oh, I mean, I don't hate Judge Dredd either. It's just, it's not a great movie or anything. But I guess if I'm saying Judge Dredd's not a great movie or anything, that's better than It's Bad. I think that's even better than Ninja Turtles 2014. To be honest with you. So let's go ahead. Is X-Men 3 better or worse than Judge Dredd? That's kind of a big question right now. I think I'm going to put Super in this place. So Super is at 103. And then it's going to be Ninja Turtles 2014. I'm going to put Spirit of Vengeance above that just because it's a little bit more creative, I think. Well, I actually am having a tough time deciding which of those is worse. Okay. I'm gonna do this for now. So Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is at 101. And then above that, we're gonna put Robocop. Wow. I don't know if I'm right about putting Origins that far down with some of this other stuff, but it may be that bad. And then I got Ninja Turtles 2014 above it, but I think it is actually a better movie, even though, again, it's creatively bankrupt. So, Judge Dredd, and then X-Men The Last Stand. Judge Dredd in the 99 spot, X-Men The Last Stand in the 98 spot. Okay, wow. Again, all of this is likely to change at some point, but that's what it is right now. And then we get up into the 2 stars. So let's see if we can do this any quicker. We're at about half an hour right now, so I think I would like to continue. If you want to stick with me, folks, thanks a bunch for being here, by the way. So 73 to 93 is what we need, so we got 20 to do here. So let me just go ahead and type these out real quick. I can just see some of the comments now. I'm sure a lot of folks are going to think I'm crazy with some of my ranking. Everybody's rankings are going to be different with a thing like this. I know in the super secret Superhero Screen Society on Facebook, our Patreon group, we've done a lot of rankings there, and everybody's always so very different, of course, because it's always based on your own personal experience. Oh, I went too far. We just need to go to 93. And who you are in the moment, and your own personal sensibilities, etc., etc. You know, I started a review for that movie for a Split at one point, and then I saw Glass, and then my brain exploded, and I could not finish that review. I actually started writing it. I probably got 3-4 paragraphs in. This would have been a year ago now. More than a year ago now. And I just... no, about a year ago now. And I was just like, oh, I can't do this. So... Or is it... No. Is it even more than that? Okay. So here we go. So we got Superman Doomsday, Hulk, Fantastic Four, The Punisher, 1989, Darkman, TMNT, that's the 2007 Ninja Turtles movie, Spider-Man 3, oh, this is, I can already tell this is going to be tough, Superman Returns, we may not get all the way through these, but we're going to get it started anyway, Swamp Thing, Batman Sub-Zero, Blade Trinity, Ghost Rider, The Spirit, Return of Captain Invincible, yeah, Superman Batman Public Enemies, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Kick-Ass 2, Barbie and Princess Power, El Super Beasto, Robocop 2 and Thor the Dark World. But I already know Super Beasto is going to be pretty low. Hulk will be a little higher than some of these. Maybe this won't be actually too terribly bad. It'll be interesting to see where I end up putting the Spirit, because I have a strange relationship with that movie. So Haunted World of El Super Beasto for now, I'm going to go ahead and put it 93. Haunted World of El Super Beasto. And then, what do we think? Barbie and Princess Power next, probably. Surprised I gave that high of a score. But it was... But I guess I'm not, because it was really mediocre and middle of the road. Like, it was just, you know, a really safe kiddie superhero movie that was frustrating because there were sparks of, we really like superheroes, we know something about the genre and creativity, and, you know, potential for characterization, and then some of that is squandered in that. Strange thing to try to review, certainly, but fun. Kick-Ass 2. Certainly. I almost want to put Kick-Ass 2, actually, even further down than Barbie and Princess Power. But I think for now, I'm going to put that in the 91 spot. And then after that, let's see. Blade Trinity is certainly a contender for that next spot. Swamp Thing is okay. Like, it's weird. There is a range I'm seeing here with 2 stars, where it's like the mediocre to, you know, the interesting but flawed, to the really bad and hard to watch, but too creative and too interesting to put lower than a 2. You know, like the ideas are there, but something is missing. I'm thinking Blade Trinity right now. Yeah, let's put Blade Trinity in the 90 spot. Blade Trinity. I'm wondering if that shouldn't have been a 1.5. Again, based on my last viewing, Captain Invincible is going to be higher than a lot of people would put it if they even saw it, but I think that movie works better than it has any right to. It's certainly flawed. I mean, I get why I put it at a 2, although my son was shocked, because he's seen that a couple times now, and he's like, really? It's only a 2? I'm like, yeah, I love it, but it is too all over the place to be much more than a 2. But I don't think that's next. I think there's worse things here. And there's things that I certainly like a lot less than it, that I would feel kind of funky putting too far above it. Superman Doomsday might go in that spot. I think Punisher 89 is a better movie than some of those. Darkman certainly goes a lot higher. What about... I know I'm off on an island on Sub-Zero, but that is almost a contender to me, although I think it's better than some of the other things on this list. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for Superman Doomsday for now. For the 89 spot, Superman Doomsday. Maybe I'll do what I did before and start going toward the top also. Like, what is out of what's left here the best thing on here? TMNT is up there. Darkman is up there. I think for now I'm going to put TMNT in that top spot. That is a decent movie. Hulk, maybe? And I'm talking for the 74 spot. I popped up to the top now, for those of you not actually watching. Let's see, Hulk, Punisher 89. Because Hulk is fascinating. It's just got a bizarre third act that doesn't really work and come together. And I don't hate Amazing Spider-Man 2 as much as a lot of people, but I still think there's things here that should probably go above that. Let's go ahead and put yeah, Hulk there. Hulk. Darkman. Punisher 1989. So Punisher 1989 is in the 76 spot. Punisher 19... Did I say 79? 89? Whatever I said. Punisher... Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. Some of what gets that to the score of a 2 is just kind of strange casting. Although I think I ended up liking him more than I expected to. And then after that... It gets kind of tough. Maybe Fantastic Four? Is that better than... That's certainly better than Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think, and Ghost Rider, and probably even Swamp Thing. Yeah, so I'm going to go for Fantastic Four next. Fantastic Four. Some people are going to think I'm nuts for putting Thor: The Dark World, you know, an MCU movie at all under some of these things, but it's boring, and I think it's still one of their most unwatchable movies. So, yeah, sorry, that's where it's gonna go. But I do think it's better than Ghost Rider. So, yeah, Thor: The Dark World, not by a lot though. This is such a strange exercise. I mean, there's no right answer, certainly. And then maybe Swamp Thing after that. Let me just make sure I got Fantastic Four in there. I did, didn't I? Yeah. Ghost Rider. Let's go for... And again, some of you guys are not going to understand this, but I'm going to go ahead and put The Return of Captain Invincible at the 80 spot. That has a warm place in my heart and speaks to me in odd ways. What that movie has to... It's weird that is as thoughtful and has as much social commentary in it as it does as being this bizarre B superhero musical and such a farce. But what it has to say about patriotism and stuff is really interesting. And kind of resonates. And then after that, it is probably Swamp Thing. It's just not a bad movie. Not my favorite thing or anything, but and then there's going to be like some fighting words between Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it's like, which of those is worse? Because I know most of the world is going to say Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I actually would rather watch that than Spider-Man 3. I think they're probably going to bump right up against each other, and people are going to think I'm insane, and we might have some people unsubscribe, but that's your prerogative. The Spirit, that is going to end up being lower than I originally thought it might. It's looking like. So what goes next? Public Enemies. I'm thinking. And then after that, let's see, Superman Returns, Batman Sub-Zero. Wow, which of those would I rather watch again? Or you know, is the better story, I guess I should say. I mean, those are both factors in this, certainly. Because sometimes it's hard to compare stories. Sometimes it's easier to compare experiences. But they all, you know, certainly go in tandem. The story is the most important thing. Always. And that's hard to say with those two things, because, I mean, they're both kind of boring. I think I am going to put Sub-Zero slightly above that, though. That's weird. Okay, Batman, Sub-Zero. That could change, but that's where I'm at with it right now. After that, Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then Spider-Man 3, and then Cap loses friends. Okay, Spider-Man 3. And then we just have The Spirit and Robocop 2. Oh, no! I messed up somewhere. Goodness. Maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. What did I botch? What am I missing? Okay, let me look over on my original list over here. Everybody give me just a second. I left this up just in case something like this happened. So we got Blade Trinity. Maybe I just wrote in too many numbers. I'm not sure. I'll fix this after the fact if I end up not figuring this out very quickly. So with just those two that I'm seeing, Spirit and Robocop 2. Oh, maybe I only needed to do 92. But I thought there was a 93. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I think Robocop 2 is going to go over the Spirit. So, Cop 2, and then the Spirit. I think I'm going to flip the Spirit and Superman Doomsday, actually. I think that's still maybe a better movie than the Spirit overall. Okay, I'll figure out the discrepancy before next time, so these numbers won't be quite right. I think we probably just needed 92 when I wrote in 93. I think that is... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, I see what I did. Okay. No? I don't think that's it. Well, I'll figure it out. Anyway. All right, that's going to do it for today, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. I know this was a lot of me kind of hemming and hawing, just figuring out where these go. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed it. That is what I'm going to be doing with these. So we got through the 2s pretty much, and now we've just got the 2.5s to the 4s, so I should be able to do that in one show. I'm gonna try. The ones are gonna be toughest, and I am not promising consistency here, because, I mean, I just not too long ago did a top 10 of the decade, so you're gonna expect some of those movies to be way at the top, and you might even expect a particular order with that. I don't know how much I can promise that, but again, this order is not set in stone at all. I'm probably going to eventually publish this on Facebook. We don't currently have a proper website. We've just been operating lately on Facebook and Patreon, of course, for our patrons. And on our Discord for patrons. So it will go, at the very least, on our Facebook page. So eventually, once I get finished with this whole thing. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Sure appreciate it, whether you're watching on YouTube or on podcasting places. And I'll see you with another one real soon, and with a scripted superhero rewind not too long from now. See you, folks.